Hey future people, it's Phoenix, and I'm going to be doing a new series today, me playing Deus Ex Human Revolution, the director's cut, and I'm going to trying to include all of the director's commentary, conversations, and reading every single piece of literature, like books and stuff. And just full disclosure, I actually finished the game, and I'm recording this post-production, so just not trying to hide things with editing. Just want to tell you. And also because some of those decisions were made later. And I do not have any save files because I've archived them. And I'm going to be playing on the hardest difficulty Deus Ex, could be Deus Ex, even though I do play games more for their story and experience rather than their challenge and competitiveness. But, I mean, you get to wear these cool sunglasses. And this is my introduction into the Deus Ex series. I did play a little bit of the original now, because I got interested in it by reading kind of some of the lore connections, which are very dubious and not easy to see unless you know these people. But Deus Ex is like a world of conspiracy, so those are the like people controlling it, kind of. They tried to put that as a common thread. I'm going to be doing a pacifist and foxiest of the hounds run, which means I'll be trying not to kill anybody or set off any alarms. And, well, I guess, yeah, with that, let's dive into Deus Ex.
Is everything in place?
Almost.
What do you mean, almost?
I have spoken with Montreal. The broadcast satellites are ours when we need them. A few weeks of discomfort, and the public will be primed for our recall.
And the clinics?
We control their birth rate. They will do as we say.
I still think we should wait for the referendum.
We can't afford to wait. America's Science Board convenes next month.
But the mood among the delegates is shifting. I'm positive that given more time...
No. By going public with this discovery, Sarif is forcing our hand.
The world will not change overnight just because David Sarif wills it. Besides, we can do nothing until our biochip is ready.
I thought you said you were close.
Finding the correct nerve interface has proven more challenging than anticipated. Fortunately, thanks to David, I now know where to look.
And in Washington tonight, crowds continue to gather in front of the Capitol. Most are demanding that Congress severely restrict efforts to alter the human body's abilities. This in response to claims made by biotechnology expert David Sarif that his firm may have discovered a way to make human-controlled evolution available to all. Sarif Industries researchers are set to arrive in Washington tomorrow to defend their claim. But for tonight, this is Eliza Kassan reporting to you live from
With all due respect, Major, I'll expect 2 security details waiting for us on the tarmac. No, we won't be going through the terminal. It's too exposed. Yes. I'm glad you understand. Good night, idiot.
Something wrong?
No, not for me it isn't. But you keep pulling on that necklace, Dr. Reed, and you're gonna break it. Come on, Meg. You've defended your research before.
That was different. Then it was all just theories. But this discovery, Adam, it's big. Kepler big. Rosetta Stone big.
So, what's the problem?
They'll want to know how I found it.
Megan, we're leaving for DC and... Adam, you're there. Good, good.
You need something, boss?
Yeah, I want to go over your security plans for Washington before we leave. You and your team ready to go, Megan?
Almost, David. We're just rechecking data.
Well, make it snappy. We have to actually be in Washington before you can dazzle all those federally appointed know-it-alls.
I hate it when he does that. Come on, I'll walk you part way.
Hi, welcome to the Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut commentary. Here is Jean-François Dugas, the game director on the game, and I'm with...
Mary DeMarle, I am the lead writer on the game.
And I'm Jonathan Jacques Billetet, and I'm the art director.
And I'm Steve Shipkowski, I'm the audio director.
And we'll have probably some guests with us today.
What do you mean,
with the first cutscene, well, when we started this project, we were kind of like... It was important to us to have links to the X1, but we wanted it to be subtle. We didn't want it to be totally in your face, even though the first character you see is Bob Page.
But you're not supposed to know that.
We wanted it to be subtle, so the first thing we did was to do just that.
But what is strange, even with the die-hard fans, when they saw it for the first time, most of them didn't recognize him, even though we tracked back the real actor.
Yeah, we went out of our way to find the real actor. We thought it was important to keep the continuity and to use him, and we thought the hardcore fans would really like it. And I think the plan was to keep the guy really in the shadows.
Yeah. And I remember I was with Dominique Demes, the lighting guy, and I was darker, put it darker, and it was all constantly a debate at how much of his face we should see or not, and that was fun.
More challenging than anticipated. Fortunately, thanks to David, I now know where to look.
Yeah, so now it's the cutscene where we're introducing Adam Jensen. Actually, this TV news is probably the only TV news that has some animated 3D in it, which was the original plan with those TV news. But as we figured out the scope of what we had to produce, and we had so much to do, and with all the other cutscenes.
Oh God, I guess I could pause it to read this. And then read the thing, but I'm just interested in both of it, kind of. And it hurts my head a little bit to read it up here, read it down here while I'm listening to it here and listening to it. Okay, maybe I'll just take it as a practice and focusing on more things.
And stuff, we quickly realized that we wouldn't be able to.
We wanted them all to be 3D.
I know that when I was writing it, I wanted it to be like, first you wouldn't even know you were watching the news. You were actually seeing like the stuff going on at the Capitol building, and then slowly you realize, oh, it's news.
Yes.
But what we kind of envisioned doesn't always work.
Good night.
Yeah.
And then with Megan and her necklace, that was another very important part for us, because from a story perspective, we wanted to establish something that was a part of her, something that made her human, and that would have on this relevance, because eventually we had all these plans that like you might find it in the FEMA facility where she'd been taken and stuff. So it was a very important thing, but I think that we didn't necessarily communicate that.
No, this is one of the few little times that me and you didn't talk or something about it, because usually things went pretty well in terms
of what you wanted and I wanted, but
of what you wanted and what I wanted. But yeah, so at one point it was like we had her design down and everything. Megan was pretty much finished in terms of what she would look like, and I think it was either you or JF who came up and was like, "Where's her necklace?" I'm like, "What necklace?" You're supposed to have a pearl necklace. I'm like, "Really?" And I'm like, "The whole thing's done. She has this big collar and she's all zipped up." And I'm like, "Where am I gonna put it?" It's like, "Well, just put it over her clothes." I'm like, "You don't put a necklace over her clothes," but we ended up doing it, which I think looks. I personally think it looks tacky, but it's fine. I mean, it works. It works in the sense that it did the purpose that it had to do.
Okay, I'm gonna just...
Patient X?
That's nothing, Adam. Just some of the research. Look, we really have to go.
Okay. Sex male, age 32, blood ORHD negative. DNA analysis of sample taken shows unusually high presence of mutagenic chemicals in the primary strand. These don't appear to be harmful, however. In fact, X appears to be healthier and more resilient to infection than most subjects of a similar age and ethnic background. Although admittedly this is based on personal observation only, access to X's medical files history is not possible at this time. More interesting to note, however, is that what these chemicals do when isolated and introduced to the P-dot cluster. In less than 24 hours, artificial materials within the cluster have completely encapsulated, being completely encapsulated in a thick, semi-permeable coating of subject's own neural tissue. In effect, the invaders are being disguised as part of the subject's nervous system. Tests has yet to be concluded, but it is my belief that P-dot clusters built with this unique DNA signature will be undetectable to the human system. The bond between what is nervous system and what is external device will be blurred to such an extent that no glial tissue buildup will occur. Neuropsine may no longer be needed. Neuropsine is important. Oh god, that was a horrible reading.
We're the ones who kept men wait. Are you coming?
In a second.
Darrow may not attend Washington science hearings. Sources close to billionaire Hugh Darrow say that Pancheo, the Arctic installation designed to stem the advance of global warming, is nearing completion. Citing the need to oversee the project himself, Darrow is yet to confirm his attendance at the National Science Board hearings in Washington, D.C. And then, Washington braces for historic augmentation hearings. Police are bracing for massive demonstrations tomorrow on the National Mall. Protesters led by the Humanity Front movement have been arriving by the busload to make their voices heard. At issues are claims of a major breakthrough in human augmentation research. The discovery, made by Dr. Megan Reed and her team of researchers at Sarif Industries, suggests that the bond between human tissue and mechanical electrodes be strengthened through adaptive DNA fusion. This development could eliminate the need for neuroprazine, a highly expensive drug manufactured under an exclusive patent by the VersaLife company. If these findings are confirmed, the discovery will greatly democratize mechanical augmentations by making them safer and far less costly. Pro-human advocates want to ban the technology on moral and ethical grounds.
Please, Adam.
Wait.
I'm nervous enough.
What?
Be careful with that. It's a first edition. David bought it for me.
Being more effective. Not very much thought put into the cover, it's just a triangle.
You still have this.
It was a gift. From our first date.
It was a spur-of-the-moment purchase. A joke.
Well, it worked. Because I forgave you for picking me up in one of those.
I don't know what's so bad about one of those. Okay. There's 5 things you have to get for Old School Gamer. I got 4, and now I just need to read her emails.
You know, you really should get in the habit of locking your computer, Meg.
I know. Frank gets on me about it, too.
That's Frank Pritchard. Call me. Megan, honey, why aren't you picking up your phone? I've tried you at your house and at your office. I've left probably a million messages with that receptionist. Cindy, is it? I'm starting to get worried, Han.
And I thought women were the ones who kept men waiting.
At least when you and Adam are together, I knew he'd make sure you eat every once in a while. I don't suppose you find some nice new man to keep you company, or you just bring yourself to work. Like mother, like daughter, I guess. Seriously, call me at the lab. I want to know you're okay. Apparently, she's also at a lab that just applied. And that's from her mom. And David Sarif. I told you, Megan, these kinds of questions fall under a slew of legal protection. Proprietary information, patient confidentiality, you name it. Denzel and his legal team are going to be right there next to you, waiting to jump all over their asses the second they ask. Just stick to the science, you'll be fine. David, I'm scared. What if they ask me where I got the first sample? What if they ask about patient X? I don't know how to answer that. The dog. Meg, you're only going for 3 days, right? So it shouldn't be a problem. Just drop off the keys before you leave. Megan Reed wrote. Diane, I'm in a bind. Doggy daycare is full and I can't find doggy. What does it say? It says doggy daycare is full, but like it's a contraction, which makes it kind of weird. Well, I guess it's not possessive. I don't know. I can't find it. You write so much text in these games, but I mean, you'd think one in the first scene would be looked at the most and scrutinized. Like, I don't know. I can't find anyone to take care of Kubrick. Can you do it? Adam's always been my backup. Technically, Kubrick is his dog too.
I'm nervous enough.
But obviously not this time. Say yes, please. He's a really sweet dog.
Hey, stop reading my emails.
Hey, Megan. I know you had some questions about the files I sent. Sorry about all the graphs earlier, but the sample was nothing short of groundbreaking and I got excited. Graphs? So he's saying sorry for sending so many graphs. It's Rebecca who sent this. The short answer is between the original, or to the original breakdown, is that yes, the DNA samples are remarkable, and we are unbelievably lucky to catch the reason why. We've been working with VersaLife's new chaos model genome matrix, which is trying to apply fractal mathematics to the study of genetic mutation. In essence, we've been trying to predict the future of human evolution using past mutations stored in the database of our mitochondria, which is passed on derivatives from ancestral Eve through our mothers. Gives us an accurate and universal roadmap for a common past. I mean, Megan would probably know this. He's explaining for the audience, I guess, like the people in the game. The thing is, the sample I sent you fits one of our evolutionary models of the future. We're talking about someone who is ahead of the genetic curve by 1 step, maybe 2. You know what this could mean for medicine alone? You have a living, breathing Nobel Prize on your hand. The thing is, I can't tell you if this is a natural leap in evolution or something done to the mother while the baby was in vitro. But I do know that this person's mother had no such mutations. Mitochondria don't lie, Rebecca. So talking about patient X. And probably the person who.
So now we're in Megan's room.
Yeah, this is Megan's office. Obviously, pretty much the first in-game part of the entire game. This was a pretty important room for us because since the clutter is really important in the game, we wanted to make sure that it was there straight from the get-go. So this is one of the really, really good rooms in the entire game where it's extremely cluttered. That pillar of the art direction was quite well executed.
And the Cyber Renaissance is, you can already feel
yeah,
it.
You can really start feeling it and all that.
It's not the biggest one.
It's not, for Cyber Renaissance, it's not the biggest one, but definitely for the clutter, it's one of the good ones. Now, I have no idea why everybody's so messy in this game, though, and that nobody cleans or puts their stuff in order, but doesn't really matter anyway.
When the end of the world is coming, you
That's
have
true.
other priorities.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Like living your life.
Like living your life and leaving pieces of paper everywhere and stuff like that. They probably don't even know what paper is anymore anyway, because they're in their phones and stuff. That's why the paper is all over around. They're like, we don't know what that is.
And now if we look at Megan, like her idle stance is quite awesome.
No,
like,
yeah,
she's a
I've
sexy
always
kitten.
hated that. I've
a
always
sexy
hated
kitten
that
who wants
when
to
you
go to
turn
the
and
bathroom.
Exactly, and I've always hated that. And quite frankly, when I play the game, I like to explore and find the different items, even though I know where everything is. So I purposely don't look at her the entire time.
Yeah, I think it's almost borderline sexist, really, just the way she's standing
I think
there.
it's out of character.
It's out of character, but it's also like,
totally
it's a woman
character.
waiting for a man, and she's like, like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
sometimes we know it, but we realize it too late.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this room too, we, like Mary alluded to, we had several pieces of information that actually were kind of selling in advance a little bit the conspiracy and the story twist and everything. And actually, that was a huge debate among the team, among the people in the team, whether we should hide those
how obvious
items.
should they be?
Yeah, do they be obvious or not?
Yeah.
Should it be like, and in fact, I think the achievement you get for getting all of them is old school gamer or something like that, because we
really?
were, yeah,
I didn't even know
we were
that
thinking
achievement.
that
It's the
we were
point and
thinking
click
that
kind
it's
of,
like the point and click mentality because it's really
It's that-
something that's up to you to decide.
It's the
and
King
find.
Quest achievement.
Yeah. But for me, it was really important that we hide them, but some thought it was maybe too hardcore, and we went into, okay, when you get close, you have now the icon that you can press, so now you get the information about
you need that.
So I think it was kind of a fair ground. Yeah.
I agree.
And I thought women... Warning. This lab is for authorized personnel.
It's very mysterious.
What did you mean back there, Meg? About how you found it?
Nothing. It's just my nerves talking.
There's something I should know about this place, about Sarif.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
We're still getting biochemical fluctuations across the artificial flow cells.
Okay. But the increased neural peptides coming from the PDOT cluster could be throwing off your calibrations.
Right. I'll double check that.
They call this walk and talk in
We
the
were asking about David. You've been here long enough to know of Eric. You wouldn't be avoiding
commentary.
I wouldn't dream of it, Dr. Reed. I think I know why Declan's readings are off.
Too many peptides?
I'm thinking the glial tissue breakdown we noticed after splicing in the repressive protein might be the cause. If we had a better cytometer...
We might get a more accurate reading that confirms your theory. I'll ask David to consider it.
Well, if he orders one from Page Industries, maybe they'll throw in another cappuccino maker.
You overthink everything, Adam. The work we're doing is good. We're helping people overcome their physical limitations.
Yeah, except most of our clients seem to be DOD.
You're doing
It's
good.
not all
Just another hour to go.
We work with teachers, doctors, construction workers.
Damn it!
Watch it, Eddie. Those boxes are worth more than your salary.
Sorry.
Nia, you almost ready?
For Washington? Huh.
Ah, Dr. Reed. This is General O'Neill.
Dr. Sevchenko was telling me you've made progress on the Typhoon.
Yes, thanks to Vasily, actually.
As I was saying, sir, the Typhoon uses a modified combat chassis like the one I'm wearing. But I've improved its design using shaped microcharges to propel the steel balls.
And the backblast problem?
Solved through kinetic bleeders in the augment. Here, watch. Go ahead.
Impressive. How soon till it's ready?
I'm afraid I have to run, but Vasily has all the details, General.
Of course.
We still have some work to do to improve the type.
You're right. The teacher would just love having one of those things.
Yep.
You're missing the point. Defense contracts keep us afloat, but neural augmentations that make you think faster, react quicker, they can really improve a life. Everybody's life.
Sorry.
David's talked about it for years.
Yeah, he is a talker.
He's a good man. Admit it, Adam. A part of you likes him.
I like everyone, Dr. Reed.
Yeah, right.
How far are you going?
Still stuck?
Diane's
Yep.
office. I forgot to leave her a key so she can walk Kubrick. He's gotten big, you know. Keeps knocking over all my plants.
Did you destroy that vase yet?
I moved it. And I fenced in the yard. Like you always said you were going to.
Yeah, never got around to that. Sorry.
Me too. About a lot of things. Adam, there's something
Good evening.
Pritchard.
So, are we all ready for the trip?
There's Farida. I'd better hurry. See you at the helipad, Adam.
Sure.
Did I interrupt something, Jensen?
You fixed that firewall yet?
You don't fix an entire firewall. You find the loophole and plug it.
Then did you plug it?
Yes, I did. Want to know how? Oh, wait, I forgot. Ex-cop. I doubt you'd understand.
Ex-SWAT, and you'd be surprised. Sarif has to see you too.
Athena. She wants me to show her how to track our scientist-implanted locator devices. In case your security plans in Washington don't measure up.
They will.
Gentlemen, how wonderful to see you both. Go right in, Adam. He's waiting.
This is the newest in encrypted GPL trackers, Athena. It transmits data to our dedicated satellites every 10 feet.
I don't care what it takes. I want you, Darrow, in Washington, by my side.
The man doesn't jump for anyone. He's a Nobel Prize winner.
Senators love this guy, Lyle. The hearings will go much smoother with him there.
I literally just read this in
Big
the
day
news.
for us tomorrow. Everything in place?
Yes, sir. Capitol Police will escort us to the Hill, and then Federal Protection Services takes over.
Good, good. How's our girl holding up?
She's nervous.
All she has to do is show him her research. She explain it to you?
Not really into the whole science thing, boss.
It's incredible. All those purists out there accusing us of tampering with the natural order, when all Megan's done is figure out how to unlock the potential that exists within our own DNA. It's safer and easier than anything you, Darrow, ever did.
Environmental malfunction. Laboratory subsection 6. All lab chiefs, please report in.
We better not take any chances. Not tonight. Use my elevator to get down there. You know the code?
Yeah, 0451.
Let me know what you find. Athena, get someone to shut off the damn racket.
Yes, sir.
So, internally, we've always referred to this section of the game as the walk and talk. And it actually wasn't the original opening for the game. We had a completely different idea for the opening to be more of a training mission where you're infiltrating your own company as part of a security test. But there was a lot of discussions among the team, and a lot of people didn't think we could pull that one off, and ultimately we ended up kind of taking a new direction on it and working in this kind of vein.
It became the walk and talk, and actually was a nice way to have a good show don't tell moment, establishing the world and the characters.
And exactly, and at first I was, because I really liked the original idea, so I wasn't really keen for the direction, but then as I started working on the script, I really did kind of start to like how it shows off the world. But I remember the first draft of the script, I think it was Joe who pointed out that we were putting a lot of technobabble in there, and it sounded like much more Star
like
Trek.
it was, yeah, it sounded like it was like a big spaceship that they were running, you know.
So we had to kind of go through extra passes to fix that and to lengthen it.
Here to the right, it's cool. Like we have one of our artists where he wanted to have an homage to the $6 million man, which was really cool and showing off that we're not that young.
That girl is such a bitch there. Stuff she said.
Well, we had to establish all their characters right off the bat as fast as we could.
And it was another nice addition about having the VersaLife logo. And stuff.
Yes, and the arm. I remember a lot of discussions about this arm because it plays a very important part later in the game, and we really needed to showcase it. And
that's why he has one sleeve and on the other side
Yeah.
have anything.
And I remember also with the artist thinking about what the arm should look like because it needed to be recognizable for when Tongue would have it, but at the same time we didn't want it to be like, I don't know, just like purple or something, you know what I mean? It needed a subtlety and at the same time something that you would remember.
That's true. And that scene, like with the Claymore explosion, it's really cool, but it took so long before it worked. Like the dolls were always staying in the air or not moving or just falling on the ground. It takes time.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, they're going to get in the elevator now. And there was, I think, a lot of technical issues, first of all, with the elevator. But one of the things that we also wanted to do was we wanted to kind of focus. As they get into the elevator, you'll see suddenly we get the camera shot. And we kind of wanted to have this theme running through the game that this is Eliza who is controlling the cameras and watching Jensen all the way from the start.
Spying.
And spying on you. So here, this was a good moment. And my one regret was it was such a great idea, and I think the cinematic director brought it up, but then just unfortunately never carried it through with many of the rest of it.
It was a very good idea that
we ended up not really carrying through. Well, you know, we got so
when
much
you've got
to
a
do.
project this big, yeah.
Now they talk about the dog, right? The famous
Oh, that's
dog,
right, the dog. The dog was Adam's dog, yes. That was something when we were working on one of our earliest demos of the game, and we had to fill the world. One of the script writers said we should have this email about Adam's dog, and it should be dead. And I was, you know, at first my reaction to that was, oh, that's terrible, but as long as it's not a cat, it's okay. And
dogs are fine.
And then we were able to take that and carry it through much more.
Now we get one of our favorite characters.
Yeah, yes. And this here, like, what is really cool is that just like a real guy, he just looked very, not too subtly, to Megan's ass. And like
quick glance at her butt.
Exactly, and I think it adds authenticity to
the fact that he also did it in front of her ex-boyfriend.
It definitely tells you a lot about the character right off the top. Like he hasn't even spoken a word yet, and just that action speaks volumes as to his relationship with Adam.
Yeah, it's Andreas.
Andreas Asperges.
Asperges did, and actually it was quite fun because I think from a writing perspective, we really wanted Pritchard to be this dick. And Andreas was so good, he'd come in and he would do this, and after every take he would finish it and go, God, I hate that guy.
And now we hear the
UNATCO theme.
Yeah, I really thought when I heard what Mike had done, there was a chance right there to kind of bring a little homage to the UNATCO theme, and we felt like this was sort of our new UNATCO, and we wanted to just give a little nod to it, and I found it was a great way to showcase into the beautiful room that John and his team designed here.
And it worked really well because we just past that point now, but when we first walk into the corridor that leads into David's office is really one of my favorite parts of the game. Is the way you crescendo with the music at that point, and this is one of my favorite rooms in the game as well, and just everything just culminates together, and it's just
it's very emotional.
It's so emotional.
It's really strong.
Yeah. I think for the story, but also for what we try to put together as a team, it's all there, and I think it's very emotional for us as well, just as a in relation to the project, you know.
Right, absolutely.
Environmental malfunction.
Okay. You say 0451. Is a Roomba.
Hurry up, Adam. Code is 0451.
I think he can come back here later anyway.
So now, if you look at the sky by the window and everything, like one of the early version, like the sky was filled with so many aircrafts that it felt like
little
it was
flying cars, whatever they were.
It felt like it was Coruscant on Ends Towers, and we were like, no. Okay, it's in 2027, but like it's still the normal world.
Well, the thing's that they're not even flying cars. There's no flying cars in our game. In the world that we created, there's supposed to be choppers or personal airplanes or private jets or whatever. But even now, I think there's too much. But it used to be columns, like in Coruscant.
Yeah. It's much better, but it could have been
It's much better, but it could have been. Because Adam has his chopper, but we never intended this to be a world where there was particularly suddenly people just flying around.
TIE fighters.
To go shopping or whatever, yeah.
And then on the Sarif's desk, there's the chessboard.
Yeah, the chessboard is pretty funny because I had a thing with one of the guys at Square Enix in LA where he gave me this really great idea once. He wanted the chessboard, the pieces to be placed as the winning move of Kasparov against Big Blue. And or was it Kasparov? I was about to say Bobby Fischer, but no, it was Kasparov. And I kept telling you, it's a great idea, we'll totally do it. And I was always forgetting, And every time they'd get a new build down in LA and he'll play it, and he would send me an email, man, the pieces are still just like there's no game going on, And I was like, I'll do it. And I just kept forgetting, and we ended up not doing. But it was a great idea because I'm sure with the kind of fans that we have, they totally would have picked it up that it's the last move. Yeah.
And now, as if you go to the elevator, now there's the code, like in the pure tradition of Looking Glass and Ion Storm games.
451 has been in all of their games. A reference to Ray Bradbury, one of my favorite authors. May he rest in peace. And so we knew it had to be the first code in the game.
Right.
And one of the funny things was that actually when we were creating again the demo, I think it was for E3. Which happens much later in the game, one of the level designers, without even thinking it, put in the code 0415.
He switched the numbers.
Yeah, he switched the numbers, and everybody was like,
is that
supposed to be? Is that? No, it was for getting into Kong's back office.
In the Hive.
Okay.
So, but we just knew we had to get that in for the first code.
And it was funny because I had a flight once while we were making the game. I don't know, I was flying where, probably for some marketing, whatever, something. And I'm in the plane, I'm looking at my flight number, and it's 0451, and I'm like, no, and I took a picture. And I actually tweeted it first, and then people were like, no way. And then I'm like, and I took a picture and I posted, and people were like, my God, it's a premonition. It's like, walk out of that plane, it's going to crash or something.
On a remote island.
Pritchard, where's Megan? She report in yet?
Her GPL implant shows her moving through the microchem labs. I think she's running.
Damn. Must have been a serious equipment failure. Can you get eyes on her?
I'm trying, but the intellicams aren't responding. There's interference coming from somewhere. Find out what's happening, Jensen. Hurry!
Pritchard!
Unfortunately, because I want to be pacifist, you can't even kill someone at the beginning of the game.
So this section where the attack takes place, originally what we had wanted to have was that you would actually go back through the area that you saw through the walk and talk, and kind of do that kind of whole Half-Life thing where you take the descent down and then you fight your way back through everything you saw earlier. But apparently remind me again, JF, I think the original walk and talk was not designed.
No, the
level?
The layout was built in such a way that it was just made to be controlled, not to have a player have total freedom.
I mean, we would have had to change it a lot to make it gameplay kind of acceptable, and then we wouldn't have recognized it as the walk and talk.
Because even there are some places we didn't put collisions or
exactly.
anything.
So in that sense, then we had to kind of refigure a bit of the story in terms of. Actually, it came in better for us because then when you come later into Sarif Industries and you see the signs, you see parts that are under construction, and it's because it's where Megan went to in the elevator ride. So it ended up working out pretty good for us.
I guess that guy died on impact.
So here we're just right before the scripted event with Barrett, where he kills the scientist. What's funny is that originally in the map layout, as you were walking down this corridor, there was a window in front of you with fire and smoke. And what's funny, it's when you were getting there, it was triggering the scripted event. But players were attracted to the window to look outside, and they were totally missing the scene with Barrett and everything. And at some point, I asked the artist to remove and just put I would say a blend wall to make sure that players are attracted in the direction of Barrett. And after that change, like in the playtest and everything, it was working super fine.
Damn artists.
I don't think there's anything to pick up here. I'll use a guide to pick up every piece of experience. There's nothing around here, but I usually just run through. I'm like just exploring like a tiny bit. Combat. Shift or right click to okay. And there's middle mouse button. Okay.
Hostile in the area! You runners! Stay down! Here I come! I've got you now! You can't... Come on!
So here in this room we see for the first time the two Black Ops killing a scientist that he falls of the guards and everything, and that has been a crazy ride just to get this thing working. We were on the verge of cutting it because it was really hard to have those scripted events working with the environment and with the physics and everything. It has been a nightmare, and I fought until the last minute to make sure that we get this in, and finally it worked.
It worked really well.
It was
and I don't think most people realize, most gamers, how hard it is just to put things like this. I mean, depending on the engine that's being used, but how hard it can be to have those scripted events going. It's just one guy being pushed over, railings, but it's
especially when you don't have the tools,
and if you don't have the tools.
And on the audio side, we worked really hard. Like for me, it was a huge thing to try and really sense the show don't tell of the terrorist attack happening. So like as you're walking and you're coming across dead bodies and that, I thought it would be cool if we could hear the sort of the violence and the killings and all that before you see it, and then when you'd come around the corner you'd see the bodies laying there, and it would kind of put it in context. It didn't come out as hot and sexy as I hoped and wanted, but it came out really cool. And again, there was certain limitations we had to deal with that was behind it, but the team came together and pulled out something that was really close to what we wanted.
Oh, that's a corpse. Ah! Shoot, I didn't realize it chased you down. Yeah, I'm probably good.
Now I've got that running! I saw you!
Okay, yeah. Oh, well, I thought maybe there was a way to not have to do this stealth, because stealth is so slow, but...
Can't risk letting anyone try to play hero, especially scientists who are taking their work. Understood. Maybe over there?
There we go. This is kind of fast stealth. They're looking for me because I'm kind of rushing. She turns invisible and she wields dual machine guns.
Yeah, so here we're just before the corner where Fedorova is introduced and she kills some guards. That was a lot of work and everything, but that sequence came quite late during the development, and we realized too late that it wasn't working because we foreshadow it with the 2 guards being killed at the other end of the corridor, and we thought players would be attracted and see what's lurking beyond the corner. But actually what happened is that most players were scared and they were just taking cover and waiting. Yeah,
because they just saw people like getting gunned down and everything. So obviously your first reflex, is just to kind of hide or whatever.
And then when they were getting on the corner, when they realized nothing was happening, the door was already open. The scientist on the other side of the door was already killed. So like it was and most players it was like that, and we were like, oh no.
And they never got to see Fedorova, and it was so important to try and set her up. And I remember that first animation that they had.
Yeah, it was a little outside of what we wanted, I think, Fedorova to be, because she, it's a bit of a clumsy sort of scene how it came together, and she sort of dematerializes and then materializes on the other side of the door, and we even thought, like, to try and help that, we put in the sound. If you listen, you can hear like almost the footsteps in the vent of like her traveling to the other side, but then she'd kill the scientist and she'd look at the players and do this kind of almost like Betty Boop sort of like blowing you a kiss. And we're sort of like, it's not really working for us.
And I think everybody was kind of like, that's not this killer, this silent killer. No. That's certainly not what she's like.
But in the end, it came out pretty well when you have the opportunity to see it, right?
Yeah, but they changed the animation.
We changed it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But we had to see it for a long time. It really bothered people.
Yeah, I gave up at one point. I thought, this is it. This is what's going to stay.
And I think every single one of us went to the animation team and said, you have to change it. You have to change it.
But now she just hops over the fence now, right?
That's absolutely. And the other problem we had was with the visuals, because she was jumping through the roof air vent, but the hole was so small, like, how can you fit in that? It makes no sense.
It needs to be at least
3 times bigger.
Twice as big. What is this, an air vent for ants? But it's not. Did we make it bigger in the end?
Yes.
Yeah, and we made it a bit bigger.
A tiny bit.
Tiny bit. For more ants.
Lost him.
Okay. Intruder, they're literally intruding the labs. They must just have generic enemy AI. It's like, you guys are the intruders. What the hell are you talking about? At least know your role. Like, you're not supposed to, I don't know. Oh shit, I'm gonna reload the previous autosave. Doesn't do anything to her. Yeah. Oh, there is some more. And then this is the end, I'm pretty sure. Oh god. Ow.
CT probe shows the bullet caused severe hematoma. We need to repair that artery.
The truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
My god, how thick was the glass?
What was that woman doing in this montage?
Come on, Adam. Stay with us. Yeah, he's not getting to like this.
Prepare for insertion of ERCC-1 craft.
I love you.
Haven't you lost enough people today?
I'm sorry.
We're seconds away.
His body can take it.
Miraculous.
I think we got it, Doctor.
Give him the info link. Give me the telecom package.
Okay.
So the goal of this cutscene was really to surprise the player and get him. And I've always hated that shot of Megan because it makes it look like, what the heck is she doing while this terrorist attack is going on? It's supposed to be, is she a part of it? Whatever. She
still
should have
has to
been
go to the bathroom.
cowering in fear. But for the most part, I think this cutscene did a pretty good job of conveying the horror of what happens to Adam in this scene.
Yeah. I remember feeling bad for him.
Yeah. It's almost gruesome.
And you can really understand all those other
That I really hated. I really don't like the green acid. It's like so like Saturday morning cartoons. Like look, it's all green.
Like Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And here Namir is going to come to us, and originally it was supposed to be in gameplay, and actually
We
we
could
had
move the camera and everything.
Yeah, we had a working prototype, but hey. So yeah, with the opening credits, actually it seems like people really liked it. Our original inspiration was to kind of the James Bond movies, the $6 Million Man's trying to showcase this augmented character and everything, but we wanted it to be really stylish, really like a James Bond movie. Sometimes they go beyond, they go in the abstract.
It's very stylized.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's actually more stylized than what we did. But no, it works really, really well. I think Steve A, the sound, the track that's on it is just completely insane. By the way, that's a pig. Sorry, I cut you. But when we see the thing cutting the flesh, it's actually a real piece of pig that was bought.
When I saw the visuals, I was really impressed. It looked really cool, and I thought it was going to be really important to sort of nail it with the right music tone, because I think something that wouldn't have worked as well might have undersold the power of the scene, but it was really powerful. When I put the music to it with the visuals, I was just kind of like, yeah, this couldn't work any better. Mike McCann, the composer, just really hit this one out of the park, and the reaction we got when people saw it and heard it, they loved it right away. Even I think Goldtooth, the people who produced the
who actually put it together,
they came back right away saying the music track is just selling this whole thing. It's bringing it all together.
It really was. And I remember the dialogue in this is so funny because the dialogue is so short and so simple, but you needed it to convey basically some of the hinting of what's going on with Sarif forcing the augmentations, but also we wanted it to sound like a real surgery and the kind of thing. So I remember giving it to one of the writers on staff and saying, could you kind of write these opening lines and stuff, and he was going on and researching all about operations and CCT scans and all these things, and in the end those little details are so important just to make it and pop it. Even if you can't hear it, it works.
So Jensen's coming back from the dead, and now is going to come. We see now that Eliza is still watching him, and now we'll see him close his shades for the first time. Now he's closing on himself.
And he's closing. Exactly. That was the idea, right? That he's kind of now he doesn't really like what's happened to him, and he's a bit kind of
self-conscious.
He's self-conscious and making a little shield around him from the world.
The eyes are the windows to the soul, but
the eyes
we cover them up.
Yeah, he protects himself.
Yeah.
Adam, it's David. You in the building?
Just entered the lobby.
Sorry to pull you out of sick leave so soon, but we've got a situation. I'm breaking out of Milwaukee Junction factory. Meet me at the helipad.
I have to see Pritchard first. Something's wrong with my retinal enhancement.
Frank's on the second floor in the tech lab. Make it quick. People's lives are at stake.
We can't stay too long, because if you stay more than 15 minutes, bad occurrences occur. I'll have to carry over this information. In order to maximize my experience, but besides that, shouldn't be anything like that. The Neural Hub, designed for a next generation. Excerpt from a paper in Neo Nature, May 2015. Neural Hub technology is viewed by some as the millstone about the neck of cybernetics research, but such commentary indicates a failure to think outside the box. In fact, the Neural Hub has always had the capacity to grow beyond its function as a gateway for cyberware integration. These implants, developed in the beginning as components in the ever-shrinking cell phone, TV, and MP3 player parts, comprise of physical processors integrated on one physical chip, but the key is in the threading. The hub is controlled by software, which enables more efficient processing on this hardware. Each input from the nervous system generates its own or multiple threads based on operations like motion or recollection. What I propose is a combination of multi-core processors closer to the human brain's own superlative multitasking capacity, effectively breaking down the barrier between the commonplace hub designs of current iterations and the subject's own mind. In effect, we all have the help to work with the human brain in analogy. Instead, a relay race where one participant is slower than the other becomes a ride on a tandem, like all the different circuits. Okay, and also have to go through their vent. Oops. What I need to not do is open that door from the outside. I think, can I find any Cyber Pro energy bars, I wonder? Oh, there's another book. The Tyranny of Biology. Transcript of a seminar given by Hugh Darrow at the World Bioethics Seminar Summit in Tokyo, 8th September 2011. The next study I'd like to share is one which we analyzed the security and privacy properties of an implantable cardiovascular defibrillator introduced to the U.S. market in 2003. The model of the ICD includes pacemaker technology and is designed to communicate wirelessly with a nearby external programmer in the 175 kilohertz frequency range. After partially reverse engineering the ICD's communications protocol with an oscilloscope and a software radio, we implemented several software radio-based attacks that could compromise patient safety and privacy. At this point, the cries of outrage from participants, Mr. Darrow, he looks up, surprised, loud gaveling sounds. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please. Okay, cries of outrage from participant interrupt him, and then Mr. Darrow, and then there's loud gaveling, like a judge's hammer. Listen, I'm not here to talk about the physiological nature of what we do in augmentation science. That's not to say I don't understand the ramifications of my work. It's just that I feel that there are better thinkers than I suited to the task. My prowess, my genius, if you forgive me for calling it that, is the creation of these engines of human improvement. I'll leave it to future generations to decide if I am remembered for what I've created. But I will say this: at no other time in our history as a dominant species on the planet have we, as human beings, have so much power over our own bodies as we do now. We are on the threshold of an age where the tyranny of biology can be defeated. Some born blind, some born whose legs are claimed by fragility, tragedy, some who could once hear and now cannot. We can offer hope to them. Nature no longer has the upper hand. Okay. I don't think you can access... Oh, you can access your computer. I don't have time to read all these emails. I'll have to do it when I get back. I guess I should have done the book, but I'll have time. Okay. I think the helipad's up on the next floor. I'm gonna be right back here, so... Oh, I have to actually go to Pritchard first. His is a big lab with the yellow windows, I think. Oh yeah, well they have different colored windows too. And they're red, they just look yellow because of what's behind them, I think, or the light, actually. There's a book here, somewhere. He's got a Cyber Boost Pro energy bar. Oh shoot. So now I have a stamina bar to... Okay. Okay, I just rebooted it so I had more time. There's a book I'll read in a sec.
Why is David keeping the SWAT team from going in right away? Doesn't he remember the last attack?
You can't compare the two. Those guys were obviously military. These ones are just vandals.
Vandals with guns and bullets that kill people.
Look, David cares about his people, but he needs to protect his client's interests. Don't worry. I'm sure he's got a plan.
Okay. I'm pretty much guaranteed we'll have enough time. I don't know why that person's like beeped like that. I'm just gonna go to my office because I'm pretty sure it's always unlocked. No, I gotta unlock it. I'm gonna check my options. Gameplay. Okay, that's turned off. I think this is... I'm gonna turn object highlight on.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been tough on everyone these past few months. Especially in the new temporary lab. People keep complaining to me, telling me they feel like they're locked in a quarantine room.
I know the security protocols are heavy, but we have no choice. Look what's going on at the plant right now.
You're right, but it's not just the isolation. It's a lack of leadership. Megan held everyone together so well. She was always the voice of reason.
I miss Megan too, Heather. That's why I make it a point to fight through the stress and try to finish the work she started.
You're right, I know. It's just, sometimes it feels like we're hanging on by a thread. I just hope David gets that.
Oh, should I go in the women's bathroom and get an extra line? I don't know. Maybe the jury's still out about object highlight. I'll just see if it works if you only open the door. There we go. Do something slightly different.
Adam Jensen. Mr. Sarif's called in his expert to handle this thing, huh? That's a relief.
It's good to have you back, Adam.
Especially with what's going on tonight. Okay, I think that girl's thing just beeps every time we walk by. Maybe that's the only Cyber Boost Pro energy bar you can get. I haven't checked everywhere, ever, so... They do put a little bit of a timer on you. Plus, it's not really that important. You can also find them, like, on the mission.
I think it was too much of a risk. I mean, it's a miracle he didn't die in that operation.
It looks fine to me.
That's not the whole point. Those additional implants, the tracking system, and whatever else they put inside him, it was unnecessary. The body can only take so much when it's on life support.
Damn it! I went into the girls' bathroom.
It was important to have the best possible security.
Is someone there?
Jensen would react if he knew how close he came to death. Hard to say. Anyway, we should get back to work.
Oh god. I never even knew there was like a secret conversation.
This can't be just a coincidence.
We hardly know anything yet. What if it's a complete misunderstanding?
Misunderstanding. Yeah, I could see the hostage takers now. Don't take this the wrong way, but everybody up against the wall.
I'm just saying. The only reason people are at the plant tonight is because we've been forced to work so much overtime ever since the first attacks.
Good point. No one was supposed to be there, so maybe it's just a break-in gone bad.
Mika Pine, I think she said. Your car lights are on? That's a weird little thing. That's something I didn't even know about. That's kind of cool. There's like a conversation about Jensen for women in the bathroom. I went in there by accident. I don't know. Should I reset it one more time just so I can not get the line or see and just go and do the thing where I open the thing? The nature of neuroplasticity. From a lecture by Hugh Darrow given at the Byrne Institute of Medicine 2013. The term neuroplasticity literally means the flexibility of the brain to recognize itself based on the result of experience. 2 decades ago, the consensus among cognitive neuroscientists like yourselves was that the lower brain and neocortical areas were unable to be changed after development, whereas structures such as memory could be actively altered in areas related to formation of recall. In a series of cleverly designed experiments, Michael Brzezinski proved somatosensory and auditory sensations, touching, hearing, respectively, can in fact be modified through practice. The process of long-term potentiation, was further explored in a series of studies in the mid-90s Southern Illinois University, studies which clearly showed how memories could be enhanced by manipulating neuroplasticity. Indeed, with the precise timing available to us in today's computers, we can clearly see that enhancement in learning can be applied for areas of the motor cortex, auditory cortex, somatosensory cortex, and hippocampus. Maybe that's what it was the first time. Yeah, somatosensory. Manipulation of neuroplasticity makes it clear that we as a species have been blessed with a brain that has an unparalleled flexibility to incorporate neuroprosthetic augments. Neuroprosthetic augments.
About time. What happened? You get stuck in an air duct on the way over?
Yeah, nice to see you too, Francis. Something's wrong with my retinal display. Can you fix it?
If it's what I think it is, probably. Of course, it might seem. Looks like your left and right imaging processors weren't completely in sync. But don't worry, Your Sentinel health implant will kick in soon, repairing any damage that might have caused. Your retinal display should be fine now. Its recognition software won't be picking up hostiles yet, but you should be seeing radar and targeting reticules. Biomedical data too, if you're in pain.
Right. We done here? Because Sarif is waiting for me at the helipad.
I know. Radicals have broken into our manufacturing plant and taken hostages. Maybe this time you'll actually save people.
If you got a problem with me, Pritchard, why don't you just say it and get it over with?
Why no, Jensen? I don't have a problem with you. If anything, I blame myself.
The mighty Pritchard blaming himself. That's gotta be a first.
I'm the one who told Sarif we needed a physical security team to protect us. If he'd read my report closely enough.
Wait a second. Are you saying it was your idea to hire me?
Not you, Jensen. I wanted Dynacore, Sharp Edge, or Bell Tower. All the top private security contractors were on my list, but Sarif wanted somebody in-house. And so did Dr. Reed.
Lucky for you, I'm gonna ignore that comment. We're done here.
There's people's lives at stake, so we don't have time to argue.
By the way, Jensen, I know you've gone through a lot of physical changes of late, but you didn't become a woman. Stay out of the ladies' restroom.
Where are you, Adam? You don't have time to mess around. Get to the helipad, or something seriously bad is gonna happen.
Oh shit, sounds serious. Yeah, after that, I think you have 5 minutes or something. Or maybe that's a halfway point. Okay. This is a helipad? You'd think they'd have a fancier sign for something like a helipad. It's like... gathering intel.
City holds its collective breath. I doubt I need to remind you folks that this is the second time the biotechnology firm has been attacked. The first time, 6 months ago, on the eve of controversial hearings set to scrutinize the company's research. With those hearings permanently on hold, many are now wondering if something else may be going on. Is David Sarif hiding something? For tonight, this is Eliza Kassan reporting to you live from Picus.
Okay, Congress under pressure to reconvene hearings. Florida Governor Philip Riley Meade used strong language today.
Still not saying much about the situation, but sources tell...
There's probably going to be one of these. Hearings on human augmentation is intended as a means to examine the ethical and legal ramifications of human enhancement technology. The hearings were suspended 6 months ago after a terrorist attack on Sarif Industries. Among those killed in the attacks were Dr. Megan Reed, one of the world's leading experts in the field. Hinting at a high-level cover-up, Meade said, "I cannot believe one of the scientists that put an end to such an important debate. Seems like a little convenient to that the attack on Ripley for Dr. Reed was set to present her research." Speaker of the House Skip Riley has yet to respond to Governor Meade's comments. In this one's extremists attack limb clinics. Liberty and Mind and Body clinics in Chicago and Denver were ransacked yesterday by pro-human radicals intent on showing their support for the Humanity Front movement. The Humanity Front, publicly opposed to the use of human enhancement technologies, has denounced the act as unacceptable. Okay. Okay, it's time to go. Actually, there's one more thing I have to do quickly on the helipad. I found where I needed to go.
The tracking system, a retinal enhancer, and a telecom package. And back on the job 6 months.
Is it true he's not on neuropozyne yet?
So I hear. The guy must be a mutant or something.
Well, David better hope nothing goes wrong. Between you and me, I can't believe the injuries he sustained call for all that hardware.
Hey, it's in his contract. If Jensen doesn't like it, he shouldn't have signed it.
I wonder if that's true. I just reset the timer. Here we go. Okay. So it's not that other one. That other one has a really high difficulty.
Welcome back, Jensen.
Hack.
Didn't think we'd see you around here for a while yet.
You know how it goes, Malik. Duty calls.
Don't I know it? I was in my wingsuit halfway to the top of the Renaissance Center when I got the 911. But you... 6 months is a hell of a short time to come back from the dead. You sure you're ready for this?
Okay, one way to find out. Are you suggesting or not?
Only one way to find out.
Roger that. The boss is already on board, arguing with the DPD's tactical response team. They've got the plant surrounded, but Mr. Sarif wants you to go in first. You all set here? Because the sooner we take off, the better it will be for everyone.
This game takes place in Detroit, so DPD is Detroit Police Department.
Great. Then let's get airborne.
Kind of bugs me how the lighting changes so much, but never mind.